morning. Crossfire 99.3 Nigeria for Mr. Jimi. Disu is back in the building. And of course, we're here set to look at the headlines with his incisive analysis. So we missed you.
Morning, Bartels.
All right, let's quickly move to the first one. We have Vanguard News, page 8. Edokebero Obasanjo visits Oluremi Tinubu.
Well, one credit that you have to give President Bola Tinubu is that he's an astute politician, and one by one he's breaking the opposition. One by one, you had Donyo Okukwe, you had all of them. It was said that Obasanjo put on a Tinubu cap a few days ago. Nobody has been able to ascertain why he did that. There's this Tinubu cap, this design cap. It was reported that he put on the cap. It was all over the place. And then I'm not surprised that he visited the Tinubus, but Remi Tinubu, and not the president himself. Maybe he got there and the president wasn't around. And so the story says that he visited Remi, the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. The spokesperson for the First Lady disclosed in a post alongside a photograph. There was a photograph of him and the First Lady, who I must admit has comported herself so well since resumption. You can't deny that. Anyway, so he visited her. He didn't issue a statement, and but what you're beginning to see, like I said, is that it's typical of elite. Everybody is trying to fall in line to see how. I don't know if that is what it is in this case, but that's my general observation. The lesson for all this is for the followers: be careful the things you do when you follow a politician. Don't get too emotionally involved and too emotionally exposed, because if you are not careful, you might be left hanging. But so that's where we are today. We're waiting for a response from Obasanjo, if he will give any. Knowing him, he might just feel that he doesn't have the need to explain to anybody. And who knows? With Obasanjo, you can't be too sure. You don't know what kind of politics he's playing. You don't know what he's up to. But it's a bit curious that he will visit the First Lady and not the president. And that he will put on the Tinubu designed cap. But that's it for you.
Okay, we have more stories. This time we go to the Punch. Presidency will be clash over new presidential jet.
I became a prophet when I was on vacation, and I chuckled when the House of Reps recommended that the president should buy a new jet. I knew all along that was where we were going. And for me, it was a conspiracy to introduce that matter, because it is very, very sensitive at this time. It's not as if buying a jet for the president is that much of a real big deal. But it's just that at this time, the way we are expending income that we don't have, the East Coast Road or whatever it is, that is really and truly, whatever you say is not a priority. So this one too came up, but that's what you have. I knew it was coming. I'd be surprised if it hasn't already been ordered in principle. Bayon Onuga had this to say. It says, does Peter Obi want the president dead? Is that his wish? Does he want him to continue moving around in a rickety plane and die like the VP? I knew they're bringing all kinds of sentiments. He said the plane he used now, I learned, was brought during former President Obasanjo's era. That was over 20 years ago. And I learned it was a very small plane. The plane developed a problem. Planes always develop problems, even brand new planes, if you follow the aviation industry, just like a brand new car. So that problem is, what is the nature of the problem? Instead of the House of Reps to set up a probe, a technical probe should have been set up and let us see the result. The fact that the car had a problem doesn't mean that you head for the car shop and buy another one. And the fact that the plane is 20 years old is neither here nor there. It's how serviceable it is. But Bayon Onuga whips up a lot of sentiments. He says that the president we talked about the last time, developed a fault. Will any right-thinking person still want the president to move around in it? And now they say, which is what the boogie I thought was going to happen. He says It is the National Assembly that officially recommended the new ones should be bought. Notice ones, that is in plural. So it's not just one. Okay, it's not just one. I don't know how many. But we just know one. Then, of course, Bayo Onanuga throws his foot in it and uses, language unexpected of a man of his age and an SSA. Sometimes Peter Obi opened his mouth to make unnecessary statements. You don't talk in that kind of language if you're an SSA to the president. You talk in a very refined manner. I wish somebody would just let him know. But, well, that's what it is. Ajuri wouldn't have said anything like that. Ajuri is a bit more... And I wonder what exactly is his own brief. But that's another story for another day. Peter Obi had said that buying the plane demonstrates extreme insensitivity to the citizen struggle with rising insecurity, poverty, and homelessness. What I was able to glean, though, in recent times, correct me if I'm wrong, is that even a country like Kenya doesn't have a presidential jet. And he wanted to go to America. He said that he was ready to hire a Kenya Airways one. But what I know is, and I'm not going to waste valuable time, the current government we have in reality what we thought was a slogan is the spirit behind the existence of this government. Emilokon, that is our turn, and we are going to get the best that we can. That kind of thing you find sometimes in the civil service. You just find one guy who says, "It's my turn. We wait for your turn," and so that spirit is what I think is it. Remember here, it doesn't say one. Would it have been so much a sacrifice, for example, if the president said, "I will use my personal jet for now"? His personal jet is not 20 years.
Does he have a personal jet?
Yes, he does. I think
that black one.
I don't know what color it is.
That grey one.
But he does have. It would have been so nice if the president just came. In the spirit of what is going on, in the midst of hunger and whatever, I will use my personal jet, just like Jakande used his personal car. Yes, he did. When Jakande was governor, he used his Toyota Crown.
Really? Toyota Crown?
Yes. I will use my personal jet for these travels. I will give it up to the nation. Maybe all you need to do is help fuel it. Because his jet is not and if he reaches out, I'm sure that there are enough citizens who might be ready to surrender their jet. But like I said, this Emilokon means it is my turn. These people are going to get everything that they quote and unquote believe is due to them. And that's also the spirit behind the acquisition of the vehicles. You remember the senator who said that what do ministers get in terms of vehicles, that 160 million is not too much. And remember, Kofi, that is 160 million of that time. If we were going to put it down in current whatever, it will very well be over 160 million.
In today's naira.
That's it. In today's naira, yes.
I think also in the spirit of sacrifice, the president said that his imam preached on sacrifice, in the Salah message on Sunday.
No, I don't believe those. I don't believe all those Salah messages. Okay. I believe that it comes from the tip of the mouth.
But he told Nigerians he said should sacrifice. The president said. So maybe he can also sacrifice.
Well, Nigerians have been known to be very gullible, unfortunately, because they sit back and don't react, and they seem to love it. So that's
interesting.
I always say, Kofi, that a lot of our politicians know this country better than us. I remember one politician in recent times, he described me as an idealist. And I said, okay, fine.
We look at today's health pages in the Punch, health-wise, and of course, cholera seems to be taking center stage.
Yeah, cholera. At 9 o'clock, there's a very nice resource material in the Punch I'm going to use to discuss cholera. Sorry. In the meantime, I'd like to call on the authorities to shut down the schools for now until we have a clearer picture, because that appears to be where we might get into trouble with the population and so on and so forth. We'll deal with that at 9. So here he talks about physicians call for mass vaccination, yes. Overdependence on imported lab equipment unsustainable. We are told that. Physicians advocate better inclusion support for special needs children. Climate change poses serious threat to fight against hunger and malnutrition. And Unilag pharmacy students proffer solutions to the persistent drug hikes. The drug hikes are the next story that we have. It's a very serious. Until it hits you. You don't know the kind of danger that lies ahead for the average Nigerian who falls sick. I'm in the middle of a crisis now, so I know I know it is frightening. It is extremely frightening. And in fact, a state of emergency needs to be declared with our health services. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a crisis as we speak right now. It's a miracle I'm sitting down here talking. But I now know what it is to fall ill in this country. If I told you my experience, which I won't because it's personal to me, it is extremely frightening. But I'm sure that's the next story, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Cholera spread, fear of school outbreak rises as pupils resume.
Okay.
I think that's
it's still
front page
it's still
story.
the cholera thing. Like we said, there's a fear of cholera, and as schools resume, and like I said, what is being said here to a large extent is that resumption should probably be postponed until we have better control of it. We'll do an extensive report at 9 o'clock. When I do the Daily Digest, we'll do an extensive report on cholera. It's just as serious as what's the name of the other one?
COVID?
Well, maybe not as
Ebola?
bad, but cholera is very fast, and in a day or two, the patient could be gone.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. At most 5 days.
Well, in a day or two, unless he has access to.
Uncle Jimmy, this isn't the first time we're having a cholera outbreak.
But we've had it since
70.
Since the 70s, yes. In fact, Ebenezer Obey sang a song, I think,
Oh my.
about cholera. Yeah,
My God.
yeah.
It was a big deal in IBB's regime. I remember there was a time when there was a lot of campaign on NT and the radio about ORT and ORS. Remember? Oral rehydration.
The human memory is can be. I can't even remember. I suspect that I was vaccinated for cholera.
Okay.
Sometime around that time. I think I went to do it at the National Stadium, but
Okay.
my mind is fuzzled at the moment.
Uncle Jimmy, I was young, and they were teaching us how to measure with, I think, like 7 spoons of salt. You level it.
It's not just for cholera. Also, if you have a challenge of
Diarrhea.
vomiting, diarrhea, yes, and sugar and salt solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's go back to the Vanguard. Nigerians struggle as high drug prices fuel health crisis. The writer so that out-of-pocket payments on the increase, patient care threatened, rising costs force resort to herbal remedies, traditional healers worry over unpredictable effectiveness of traditional medicine.
Okay, so this is what I was referring to, and it was such an irony that waking up this morning, I woke up to the same headlines in 2 national newspapers, the Vanguard and the Guardian. The same headline. In the Vanguard, it says Nigerians struggle as high drug prices, fuel health crisis, and the Guardian says that anxiety as 200% hike, scarcity hit hospitals, essential drug markets. And I'm a living example of I don't have the crisis, somebody close to me has, but of what we're actually facing in this country. It is frightening. It is frightening. Let me read what the Vanguard says. It says, for patients in Nigeria, the outrageous cost of life-saving drugs is a daily burden. Several people are now forced to take a risk with their health by extending or missing doses, settling for less potent substitutes, and resorting to self-medication or traditional rulers or stopped medication entirely. For those battling chronic ailments such as diabetes, high blood pressure, or cancer, the affordability crisis has pushed essential medications and treatment out of the reach for many Nigerians and strains the public healthcare system. Experts are worried that a significant number of patients who are not taking their medications as prescribed stand to develop complications and incur even more expensive interventions later. That more expensive intervention, I can tell you, in some cases could easily, by the time you turn your back, it could easily run into millions. Easily. Even the insurance companies the insurance, medical insurance that people have,
HMO.
the HMO at some point stops short at a particular level. It's when you get to hospital that you will be told that, oh, the insurance you have, you can't use it for A, you can't use it for B. The little prints that you didn't see when you were paying your premium will now surface. We have an emergency and a crisis in the healthcare system, and all of us should be worried. Reason being, in simple language, you don't escape a health scare until the day you are dead. You don't escape a health scare until the day you are dead. Look at this little rider here. It says, I can't afford 1.2 million for one drug. Okay, and this is a gentleman called said one of Dio A, we just use his name there, who was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2023, has not purchased any of the drugs meant for him. He says the cancer was detected mid-stage. I am only on palliative treatment. One of the drugs described for me was Loptron Depot, whatever. The doctor said I should take it once every 6 months, but it costs 1.2 million naira.
My God.
Yes,
That's a lot.
Yes, I know. Even some injections, 50, one shot, 200,000, 250,000.
It's gone.
I know. I'm in the middle of one, so I know what it is. So it is a real bad crisis. Olu E, a father of 3, who noted that paying his hospital bills is a nightmare, said, I'm a civil servant with a heart problem. Actually, I'm on the basic health insurance plan, but it does not cover the full cost of treatment for my condition, so I'm paying out of pocket, and so on and so forth. It's all here, and there's a worry that some people are resorting to traditional herbal medicine. A general practitioner at General Hospital, Dr. Femi Akintude, cautioned that though traditional medicine practices and herbal treatments are prevalent, and other familiarity and cultural relevance, their effectiveness can vary significantly. I pray that none of us has a medical challenge.
Amen.
That goes. You'll always have a medical challenge anyway, but that goes completely out of hand. It is. It's not just mind blocking. It is heart wrecking. You just feel helpless. You just feel completely helpless. Look at what the Guardian says. Anxiety has 200% hike. Scarcity hits hospitals and the essential drug market. We expect the presidency, to quickly wade in and see what can be done, to save the situation. Or else we'll spend more time going for service of songs and going for funerals than we will, going to any other social event.
God forbid.
That's why you find.
God forbid.
Certainly, I thought maybe you had to do. I was saying one. You find a lot of people are just dying, and usually the refrain would be that nobody knows what it was. That's the usual refrain, and I think the doctors too have a problem, in the sense that how do you tell a patient that, okay, this is what is wrong with you, you're going to need close to 30 million for treatment? How do you tell a patient who is a teacher or whatever? So the doctors will hide under, well, I don't know what it is. You go a lot of labor, go back
and people are going to be forced to go for local alternatives,
and for prayers and things like that. It is a big crisis, and I'd rather the government pay attention to these things than things like trying to buy a new jet and all these things. Even the National Assembly by now should have declared, somebody should take these newspaper cuttings and show them
that we have
what are you going to
crisis.
do to save Nigeria? You have a crisis
in the health sector.
Yeah.
And those who are always waiting to cash in on things like this are also looking around the corner to sell fake drugs.
Yes. Okay. So you have fake drugs. You have drugs that are not completely fake, but the truth is that even the companies, the major that produce drugs, some of them are reducing the active ingredient. A pharmacy. I know somebody who walked out of her job because from a reputable company. Look, if you're used to buying these antacid tablets, a very popular one now, I just noticed, has gone slim. I noticed it. It's gone slimmer. I'm not allowed to mention the name of the product, but it's gone slimmer, which means that the active ingredient has been reduced, the effectiveness is reduced. You find that even sometimes to take paracetamol, sometimes you have to go for the foreign one.
Because you don't know.
No, because you take they say you take paracetamol 2-3 times daily. You're supposed to have relief by the time you're taking the second one, and by the third it should clear out. But even on the second and third day, the headache has refused to go.
Uncle Jimmy, when we're growing up, my auntie, she's a nurse, a midwife. We don't swallow paracetamol, we chew it. So I know the taste of paracetamol.
Oh, okay, yes.
We chew it. She makes us, you're laughing. Yeah, she says it works faster. So I'm used to chewing paracetamol. Yeah. So, but last month I took paracetamol, which I had to take anyway.
Yes.
For me to take paracetamol means it was really bad. I took paracetamol to relieve me from some pain, and I told my wife, this thing tastes like chalk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The active. I say if you look at this, what's it called? This medication for gas.
Okay.
I don't want to name the brand.
Yeah.
It's the tablet is thinner. By the time you put it in your mouth, you suck it twice, it breaks into 2. So I took a very good look at it. I wish I had the older one to measure it up.
Yeah. Oh man, may God help us.
The unfortunate thing is that our elites and political class, they of course they whatever amount you put down. In fact, they boast about it. There was one that recently said that I just came back from London and I'm feeling fine and so on and so forth. And I said, good luck to him. What about those of us who couldn't do that? They'll take care of themselves. They will take they'll take care. They will go to Israel. They will go to Cuba. They will go to wherever it is.
London, France.
They'll take care of themselves.
Oh, let's not say France.
And then bound the rest of us to the Philistines. You said France. Why? What's special about me?
Leave that out.
Okay, we'll leave that out, yes.
Yeah. Uncle Jimmy, but there are some of them who emergency strikes. They had all the chance to build all the world-class hospitals they could have built in their states. They didn't.
Emergency strikes. The famous minister that died many years ago from an accident, the late Dr. Okukwe, not this one, the late Dr. Okukwe, the head specialist, told me a few things. One, the man shouldn't even have been moved from the scene of the accident. His treatment should have started where he is. 2, by the time they were flying him, they just picked him up, put him on the plane. Of course, he died in the air. The people at the other end were telling him that, why were you even bringing him? The doctor we are going to consult is in Nigeria. The Dr. Cooper was world-renowned head specialist. He studied in Scotland.
I see.
Yes, world-renowned. And he said they told them that the person we are going to consult is in your country.
My God.
So that's part of it. Our political elite should not think that they are immune from all this. They can, quote and unquote, fly out if an emergency happens. What if you are not in a position to
fly out?
To fly out.
It happened to a lot of them.
It happens to a lot of them. What if your people can't even access the funds to help you fly out? Something as simple as looking for where your passport is can delay you by 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it is important for all of us to put our hands together, and make sure that we have, because we never know the day we will need. What if you are in a condition that they say it cannot be moved? Yeah, because there's some questions that say, sorry, you can't move him. So it's important for people to know that we are all affected by this. We are all affected, and nobody is immune. Nobody whatsoever is immune, no matter how high up and how rich you think you might be. There could be a condition that says that you can't move this gentleman. The minister, that's what Dr. Who told me, said that man should have been treated if it had been abroad. He'd be treated on site. They bring the neurologist or whatever it is to treat him there. You won't even lift him.
I think it happened when you had that BRT accident.
This one was a motor accident. It was a minister of the Federal Republic.
Wow.
A current a minister at that time, not a past minister.
Okay.
And so I think they got Julius Berger. Let us try to move. They just lifted him. Lifting him alone almost was what probably killed him.
They have a name they call it when they treat them on. Some of us, when we saw them, treated them at, I think, Luth or Lasso on the floor there.
On the floor, yes.
We were criticizing it, but we later realized that they actually have to do it.
I think Faban will have to come. Professor Faban will have to come.
That it's part of their practice.
And I think I put in some contribution there to say that, yes, I've spoken to somebody who says that there are some accidents that you treat on site.
On site, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Knowledge is power. All right, Coach. Before we go, let's look at some of the news stories and tidbits from.
Okay,
around.
so we have some tidbits here. Oh my God, man hacks wife to death over alleged extramarital affair.
Again.
This was in the Jabode area. My God. By the way, I heard that I don't know if the MD of Fuani has been found.
Latest says that he hasn't been found.
He hasn't been found. It's so sad. What scared me the more was that he was picked up in the water, like I heard, which means that it could be anywhere from here to Bayelsa.
Even Benin Republic.
Even Benin Republic. It's frightening. It just shows we don't have a coast guard. It just shows that for those of us, again, the elite who have all these boats, go on picnics and so on and so forth, the best I can tell you is that you better think twice. Okay, police begin search as gunmen abduct Anambra Catholic priests. Okay, the funny story is here. Abducted them, the others still in captivity as rescue efforts continue. And it says that the funny, they were waylaid by gunmen along the waterways and whisked them to an unknown destination.
How?
A source familiar with the incident said the kidnappers had demanded $1.5 million.
Okay, let's just take this quick commercial and then we'll round up and come back.
Okay. All right.
Is your heart racing because your MTN line is blocked? You can't make calls. You can't receive calls. Not even text messages. Nothing at all? What about back alerts? All these happened because you haven't linked your NIN to your MTN line. Unblock your MTN line today by linking it to your NIN. Rush to any nearby MTN store or agent. If you don't have your NIN yet, no problem. Simply go to any nearby NIMC office to get your NIN. MTN. What are we doing today?
My children take some lessons online. This is how our days used to go.
Dad! Daddy, my screen is frozen! Dad!
Dad this, Dad that. That's my poor connection cue. But today, I celebrate an end to these frustrations thanks to MTN 5G broadband. Now, lessons, family times, streaming our favorite shows, all working from home are the easiest. Get on the train. Thank you later.
My daddy is the best in the whole wide world!
Because every second matters, you can do so much in a day with MTN 5G broadband. Create, connect, and keep winning with MTN 5G broadband. Visit shop.mtn.ng.
Information.
Okay, Uncle Jimmy, we have to go.
Yes.
Are we going to look at more of these stories at 9 o'clock or just
No,
stick with cholera?
We'll stick with cholera.
It's a sad one.
It's a sad one, but we'll
Yes.
stick with cholera.
Don't you be careful.
Yes, everybody needs to be very, very careful.
It's good to have you back, sir.
Yeah.
And our best thoughts are with you.
Thank you very much.
Thoughts are with
Thank
you.
you.
All right. The news at 8 is up next. Stay with us.
It's 8 o'clock. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.